Welcome back to High Frights. Tonight's video covers the SCP Foundation, the myths. Please be advised this episode includes detailed descriptions of horror, psychological distress, and fictional violence. It is intended for a mature audience and it's definitely best enjoyed in a safe, comfortable environment. All SCP content is based off the SCP Wiki and licensed under the Creative Commons. Now let's open files. Check your door, check your window, and make sure the outside world looks at least a little stable. Tonight we're not doing ghosts. We're not doing serial killers. I mean, at least not the humankind. Tonight we're opening a file that officially doesn't really exist, but it's fun to talk about anyways. We're talking about the SCP Foundation. If you're already in the clouds, you might want to stay there. You're going to need that little buffer. Because what the things we're about to discuss isn't really scary, it's more just wrong. I don't know how else to describe it.
Defies all human nature.
Yeah, like defies everything the human race kind of knows. They're basically the glitches in the code of reality. The Foundation secures, contains, and protects. Honestly, it sounds more like a security, like a security firm or like a government agency thing. But, I mean, you could honestly think of it more as they're like the janitors of the universe. They're a shadow organization with unlimited funding and zero moral compass. If you think about it, it's basically the ICE of Area 51.
Or just area,
It,
or just an Area 51 in general.
no, because at least Area 51, like, even in fictional shit, Area 51 had more humanity.
Yeah.
It's sad to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Their job basically was pretty simple, though, if you really think about it. Well, not that simple, because a lot of people died, but simple when it's written down, it looks simple. It's take things away that defy all the laws of physics, like monsters, sentient buildings, gods. Basically, just put them in a box.
They put it in the box.
That's pretty much what they are. The secure, contain, protect only is like, oh, not this wall has eyeballs. We're gonna put it in a box. Like,
We're gonna put it in a fucking like 20 by 18 box.
Yeah. But tonight we're lifting the veil. We're gonna be looking at cases that they've tried to bury. But I've got the files. Took me a little bit of digging, but I got them.
Oh, we got it.
We got them. So get comfortable. Spark it if you got it. Because we're going to be going pretty deep into it. And because I got it, I'm going to spark it. So it is gardening time. Also, if y'all haven't already noticed and picked it up by now, my lovely husband is here as well. Here you go. Also, I probably should have said this in the beginning. Any and all substances that are used while recording and while doing these is used in a controlled, safe environment and is legalized in our state.
Do not try this at home.
Please do not try this at home. Well, only if you're old enough and it's legalized in your state.
Please. How about to do it outside?
No, do it in a controlled, safe environment as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Do it inside if you can.
I'm talking about like in the backyard. What's happening?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it outside, if you're out, like someone's gonna take that as like going out to a park or like going to on their porch or something.
Right.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, that's my stage base.
Yeah, if you can, do it indoors. Anyways, back to what we were doing. Now let's start with the first case. This is the original sin, and everyone knows about this little creature. This is SCP-173. Little. Quote unquote.
That shit might be like modeled after a peanut, but it ain't little.
If this was a true crime show, this would be the suspect that looks harmless until you see the crime scene photos. Imagine a concrete room, empty except for a statue. This little guy is about 6 feet tall, constructed with concrete and rebar. It almost looks crude, like a really bad art project. It's got this really oversized head, stubby little arms, and it's honestly, it seems like it was painted with like a crayon, like the spray paint. It honestly looks ridiculous. But here's the memo. The statue's alive, but it can only move when you're not looking at it. Now, I want everyone to think about this real quick. Think about how much you actually blink. Now, the average person blinks from 15 to 20 times a minute. That's a fraction of a second of darkness. And for SCP-173, that fraction of a second is like a marathon. The Foundation... Not even it wins almost every time. This is like the living embodiment of the Flash if he was like stuck as a statue. Pretty much.
Yeah.
The Foundation keeps it locked in a container, but this container gets dirty. It kind of excretes a mixture of blood and feces. Honestly, you can't even ask me where it comes from because the anatomy of it doesn't even make any sense. So every few weeks, they have to send in a new crew of the D-class personnel, which are death row inmates, and they're expandable to the Foundation. 3 men enter, 2 stand back, staring at the statue, unblinking, while the 3rd man has to mop and clean it. They have a system. They have to announce when they blink. I can only imagine how much tension would be in that room, like the smell of like bleach and copper. You're just staring at this like painted face thing.
Face.
Like your eyes are watering and burning almost, and you just want to close them for just a split second.
My eyes, they burn.
But then the lights flicker. Just a power surge. But maybe it was a half second of darkness. When the lights come back on, the statue hasn't moved. It's just closer.
Hasn't moved. It's just close. What?
Like, hasn't moved out of the room.
Oh, okay.
Like, hasn't moved locations.
Oh,
Sorry.
so
It's a little typo on my part, my bad.
Like a slight bit of oxymoron.
Oopsies. And the man who was mopping, well, his neck was snapped. A clean break at the base of the skull. There was no struggle, no scream. It was just the sound of gravel grinding on bone. It doesn't seem like 173 has a motive or any hatefulness towards you. It doesn't even want to eat you. It just wants to break you. It's a game of red light, green light, but the penalty is death. The scary part is when the room is empty and the microphones are on, you can hear it. You can hear it just scraping against the walls, just waiting for an audience. Now, if 173 was about looking, the next one is about being seen. SCP 096. He's also widely known as the Shy Guy. A humanoid pale skinned it's a humanoid. It has pale skin and devoid of any pigment. You can see every rib, every vertebrae. The arms are way too long, about like 1.5 meters each.
Basically, imagine the average description of a Wendigo, but
Like,
100 times more horrifying.
actually, yeah, now thinking about it, isn't Shy Guy just like an evolution of a Wendigo?
If you want to call it that, sure, yeah.
Like the design, I mean.
That's design-wise, yeah.
Design-wise, I feel like. Anyways, back to things. Now the Shy Guy sits in a steel cube, facing the wall, sobbing. It just weeps into its hands. This honestly sounds really sad, right? Like it's a victim. But there's a rule to this. You cannot see its face. Not in person, not in a video, not even in a photograph. If you see the face of SCP-096, even if it's just a singular pixel in the background of like a holiday photo you took like 20 years ago, it knows. It enters an emotional state of distress. It screams and then it starts running. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be on the moon, you could be on a submarine at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. 096 will breach containment. It will run through steel walls, it'll swim through any ocean. It will not stop until it finds the person who saw its face.
So, in other words, the steel cage isn't for containment per se. It's just so it doesn't just walk out somewhere and it's on the loose.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just so it stays in there and nobody sees its face or anything.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You can just just rip right through the steel like it's butter.
There is actually one very famous incident log. And it was actually incident 0961-A. A researcher wanted to test the limits of the creature. They gave a D-class personnel a picture of the creature inside of a diving bell and sent them like thousands of feet underwater. 096 broke out of its cell in the mountains. It ran across the continent and dove into the ocean. It swam down, crushing the diving bell like a can of soda. There was nothing left of the D-class personnel to do an autopsy.
It was simply a red mist in the ocean.
Now we live in a world of surveillance right now. Cameras everywhere. Now what if one day you're scrolling on the internet and you see like a corrupt image, just a flash of a pale screaming face. You wouldn't even know what you did, but somewhere thousands of miles away a creature's just screaming and you know it's coming for you. Now we should try slowing it down just a little bit and change the setting just a wee bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. For those who never went to college, this is your lucky day because we're going to go to a university campus. It's a random building and the doors labeled.
Fucking screaming.
That was horrible. Okay, anyways. We're going to a university campus. It's a random building, I know. But there's a door labeled janitorial. There's no mop bucket inside, just a staircase. A concrete stairs with an iron railing and industrial lighting, but the lights are all broken. This is SCP-087, the Endless Stairwell. The Foundation sent explorers down there, We have audio logs. Imagine you're descending and it's quiet. The air is stale. Your flashlight only cuts through about 10 feet into darkness. It seems like the darkness is thick, absorbing any light that you can even produce.
Almost like
You go down one flight, then two, then 10. You should be in the basement by now, but the stairs keep going. At 200 meters down, you hear it, a sound coming from below. It's a child, crying, a distressed rhythmic sob. Please, someone help. It sounds close, maybe 2 flights down, so you hurry. You want to help the child, so you go down another 50 flights. The crying's still there, still 200 meters below you. But you can never catch up to it. It's just a lure. Then you realize you're not alone on the stairs. There's a face floating in the darkness. SCP-087-1. No body, just a face. Gray skin, no mouth, no nostrils. Just blank white eyes. It doesn't scream at all. It just watches. The last explorer they sent down into a depth made it down to a depth that shouldn't be physically possible. Kilometers below the Earth. He stopped hearing the child, and he stopped hearing his own footsteps. He just saw the face, inches from his own, staring. The feed cut out. The Foundation wielded the door shut. So next time you're in a stairwell and the light flickers, just listen. If you hear crying, don't go down.
don't go there.
Don't go down there.
In this case, it don't go down. It do go down. It don't go down.
Now we're gonna move more away from. Wait, what? Okay. So we've started talking about monsters, the statues that snaps your neck, the guys that can run across any ocean to find you. Those are scary, yeah, but they're physical. You can touch them even if you shouldn't. But now it's about to get a bit, like, wobbly. We're going to be moving away from biology and more into geography. We're talking about places where the map is just wrong. Places where up isn't always up. We're talking about glitches in the simulation. Because the SCP Foundation doesn't just lock up beasts, they also lock up buildings. They lock up mathematical concepts and they lock up colors. I don't know how, but they somehow do.
I'm sorry, math? Hold on. How do you lock
I don't know.
a mathematical concept? Please explain this.
Listen, I don't know. We'll get into that in a whole nother
And that's a
episode.
conversation between you and God.
Yeah, that's a conversation between you and whatever you praise. I don't know. But anyways, take a deep breath, ground yourself, feel the chair under you, make sure your walls in the room are still where you left them.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm just checking the walls. Anyways, let's start with something we all know. The feeling of being lost in like a giant store. The fluorescent lights, the smell of the cheap wood and meatballs. The arrow. Don't say, huh? I'm getting to it. The arrows and the floors that guide you through the maze. It's annoying, right? But I mean, you eventually find the exit. But what if you didn't? Now let's talk about SCP-3008. The Foundation calls it a perfectly normal, regular old IKEA. That's the official name, but that's a lie. It's located in It's redacted. Ha, sorry. The building is.
You'll never know.
You'll never know, because I don't even know. It's redacted.
Love redaction.
This building is this building is a spatial trap. From the outside, it's just a regular big box store. You park your car, you walk in, you buy a desk or a lamp or whatever your heart desires. And you wander through the showroom. You you lose track of time, standard stuff.
Walk in, walk out.
But when you turn around to leave, the doors are gone. You walk back the way you came, past the bedroom sets, past the kitchen displays. You walk for about 10 minutes, then 20, now an hour. You climb on top of a display case to get a better view, and all you see is a stretch out of an infinite horizon in every direction. Miles of bookcases, mountains of sofas, a sky made of endless ceiling tiles and buzzing fluorescent lights. You're trapped in an infinite dimension consisting entirely of an IKEA. But you're not alone. There are thousands of people trapped in there. Civilians, they've been there for years. And humans, well, we adapt, we survive. They built towns, actual settlements constructed out of bed frames and dressers. A town called the Exchange. A town called the Returns. They have leaders. They have wars over resources. Imagine a medieval siege, but instead of castles, you're defending a fortress made of billy bookcases, and a weapon is a sharpened table of a leg. I had a, I, your weapon's a sharpened table leg. Apologies.
English is hard.
It sounds really funny at first until the lights go out. You see, SCP-3008 has a night and day cycle. The overhead lights shut off, pitch black, and that's when the staff come out.
The staff.
3008-2, the employees. They look like humans, but they wear yellow shirts and blue trousers. They have no faces, no eyes, no mouths, just smooth skin. And their bodies are all wrong. Some of them are 7 feet tall, some of them have arms that drag across the floor. They aren't fast, they just shuffle through the dark aisles. They say things like, "The store's closed, please exit the building." And, "Excuse me, sir, the store's closed." And then they tear you apart with their own bare hands. There's a journal received from a guy who's been stuck there. He talks about the isolation. He talks about eating meatballs for 6 months straight until he forgot what real food tasted like. He talks about watching his best friend get swarmed by the staff in the lighting section, hearing them politely ask him to leave while they ripped his arms off. It's the ultimate consumerism hell. You're defined by what you buy, and now you're gonna die in it. So next time you go shopping and you lose sight of the exit signs, maybe just run. Just in case. The idea of being lost is primal, but there's something worse than being lost, and that's being forgotten. Or even worse, forgetting yourself. So how's your memory going right now? Do you remember what you had for breakfast? Do you even remember the first 5 minutes of this video you're watching? Good, you better. But what if there was something else in this room right now with you that you couldn't remember? You look at it, you see it, and you panic. And then you look away and your brain just deletes the file. You go back to relaxing, totally unaware that the monster is breathing down your neck. SCP-055 is a Keter class object. That That means it's dangerous and hard to contain. But here's the problem. The Foundation has no idea at all what it is. It's kept at Site 19. It's in a square room, cement walls, and a Friday cage. A heavily locked door. We know that people go into the room. We have logs of them entering, and we have logs of them leaving. But the second they cross the threshold, their minds are wiped of the experience. It's not really amnesia, it's more like a auto-suppressing idea. The information itself is slippery, like it's like trying to hold water in your hands. There's a transcript of a conversation between two high-level researchers, Dr. Hughes and the assistant, and it goes a little something like this. The assistant, so tell me about object 50 so tell me about object 55. Dr. Hughes asks, what object? The assistant reminds him, SCP-055, the one you just studied. Dr. Hughes then responds with, I haven't studied any 55. We don't have a 55. The assistant again reminds Dr. Hughes, but sir, we're standing right outside its containment chamber. They look at the door and then they realize there's a room. They realize there's something inside and they panic. They agree to write it down. But then they look away. Dr. Hughes then proceeds to ask the assistant what they are currently talking about. And of course, because of how the SCP works, the assistant replies with, I think we were discussing lunch or something. It's terrifying because it implies our reality is full of holes. Like, how many times have you walked into a room and you've just forgotten why you were there in the first place? We laugh it off as, oh, I'm just tired, or in this case, oh, I'm just very high up there.
Yeah, I'd be like that.
But what if you walked into a room and saw the creature that defies logic? You screamed for your life and managed to escape, but you forgot that it even happened the moment you hit the hallway. Researchers eventually figured out a hack. They couldn't describe what SCP-055 was, so they tried to describe what it wasn't. They determined one fact, that it was not a sphere. That's really it. That's the only truth they could really hold on to, that it wasn't a sphere. Is it a person? Is it a bomb? Is it a cat? We don't really know. We just know that it's not round, I guess. It really makes you wonder, what are the things in your life that you've kind of just edited out of your mind? What are the shadows in the corner of your eye that you ignore because your brain just can't process them? Maybe the reason you feel anxious for no reason is because you saw 055 just 5 minutes ago and you just don't remember.
That's a horrifying thought.
Okay, now before I send everyone into into like a very, very schizo moment, let's move away from the mind and back to the body real quick. Now I want you to get comfortable where you're sitting. You feel the fabric of the couch, right? Or wherever you're sitting, the leather of the chair feels nice, right? Right? Manufactured, safe, you're good? Everyone okay? Yeah, now let me ruin that for you. Zero SCP-002 is called the living room. This thing crashes to Earth like a meteor. It hits the crater of Portugal. Then when the recovery team got there, they found a giant fleshy black tumor. It was like a biological growth the size of a house. But there was a door, an iron valve that led inside as well. When they opened it, they found an apartment, a modest, low rent living room. There was a window, but no view. There was a rug, furniture, a lamp, but the air smelt like ozone and blood. They sent people in with sensors, but that's when the horror actually set in. They scanned the armchair, and it wasn't leather. It was made from strips of human skin, woven together like while the DNA was still warm.
Oh God, the DNA was still warm. That's a quote.
They scanned the lamp, and the base wasn't ceramic. It was a sculpted bone. The shade was made of dried bladder. They scanned the rug, and it was hair, thousands of different strands of human hair, black, blonde, gray, all matted into one carpet. The room was alive. It was a stomach.
Oh God.
When you enter SCP-002, it puts you at ease. Maybe you even feel tired. You want to sit on the couch and the room reads your genetic code. And then it incorporates you. It doesn't necessarily eat you in a traditional sense, it refurnishes with you. Maybe your femur can become a lovely table leg, or maybe your eyes can be decorative marbles in a bowl, or even your nervous system can become wirings for a new television set. The Foundation found 7 people missing from the initial recovery team. Inside the room, they found 7 new pieces of furniture that wasn't there before. 2 lamps, a rug, a television, a radio, and 3 books in an unknown language.
Backball.
So now you might want to check your furniture. Does it feel a little too warm? Does it feel like I have a pulse?
Backball.
And maybe it might just be the buzz kicking in. But anyways, so we survived the IKEA. So we survived the IKEA. We've forgotten about the anti-meme already. And we avoided sitting on any furniture made out of people. Seems like we're handling this well. You might want to drink some water, though. I know most of y'all got cotton mouth. Let's shake out the tension in our shoulders. Because now we're going to be leaving the planet. We're going to be talking about things that drift in the void between the stars. We're going to be talking about dead gods and the redness of deep space. We're going to get existential for a second. Honestly, this is time for everyone to relight and garden again. While we put the next file. So gardening time. I'm just gonna do mine and you continue with ours.
Can you pick me?
Yeah, hold on. Oh boy. Nothing like talking about the SCP Foundation while also feeling like an SCP yourself.
How's that?
Because I know when I said we were going, like, reaching for the stars and all, I didn't mean in a literal sense.
Fair enough.
If you know, you know. Here you go.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm ready to give you more for the next one.
I want to tell you all a love story. Well, more like a tragedy. It's about a man named Dr. Robert Scranton. And this is SCP-3001, called the Red Reality. Dr. Scranton was a reality architect. He built the machines that stabilized dimensions.
That's a new one.
But one day there was a quake, a systematic shift in reality. The floor dropped out and Scranton fell through the wormhole. He didn't land on another planet, per se, but he didn't land in hell either. He landed on a non-dimension, a pocket of absolute nothingness. Now imagine a space that is infinite but empty. No stars, no ground, no sound, just a thick, endless black darkness. Except for one thing, the control panel that his machine fell with him. And on that panel, there's a single blinking red LED record light. That red light was the only source of illumination in the entire universe at the moment. We have his audio logs, and he recorded them over 5 years. Year 1. He's confused. He thinks he's going to be rescued. He does the math, and he realizes time doesn't work right here. He isn't hungry, he isn't thirsty, he just exists. Year 2, the boredom sets in. But it's not just boredom. It's reality dissolution. See, our bodies need a certain level of reality to stay solid. In this place, the reality level is almost 0.
The reality.
Scranton starts to fall apart. Literally. He looks at his hand and his fingers are drifting away like smoke. He vomits, but the vomit just floats in the air, because there's no gravity. He has to push his own fluids away from his face. And in year 3, this is where it starts getting a little heavier. He starts talking to the light. He names it Red. He falls in love with Red, his wife, his best friend, his god. He tells Red jokes. He cries to Red. Red, are you listening? I think my foot came off today. I can't feel it, but it's okay because we're together. He tries to end his own life. He tries to strangle himself with his own hands, but he can't die. The reality is too low. He can't sustain the chemical reaction of death, so it's just a consciousness trapped in a dissolving slurry of meat. Year 5, the panel runs out of battery, and Red dies. And Scranton is finally and truly alone. But 5 years later, back in our world, the wormhole opens up again. The Foundation finds the control panel, and they download the logs. They find a pile, a gelatinous heap of gray matter, blood, and liquefied bones. It was still twitching. Dr. Scranton spent 5 years disintegrating into nothing, held together only by a light of a single LED. So now look at the lights in your room and be grateful that they're on. Be grateful that you have a floor to stand on, because reality is fragile. And when it breaks, it's a long, lonely fall from here.
So how is this one even containable?
It's really not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not all of them are contained.
Out of bed.
So that's another thing. Not all of these like anomalies or like creatures or anything are contained.
Because they can't even be in the first place.
Yeah. Like I don't think I've included this one in here, so there's a little spoiler, a little extra one. There's even a giant space shrimp. Yeah. That one I'm not gonna get into too much detail on that one, because I don't really know much about it myself, to be honest, but I know there definitely is one. It's a giant shrimp in space.
Many questions.
Yeah, I don't know. Now let's get out of the dark a little bit and go to the brightest place possible. The sun. Did you know the Foundation has an asset floating in the solar corona?
Well, the fact that you can call it an asset is fucking insane. Like, yeah, we just currently have a
I had to sneak that in there.
You just got a star contained. Nothing too crazy.
Can I have the shrimp, please?
Yeah.
Apologies, I need something to drink. Remember to hydrate, kids. SCP-179. They called her the. I'm gonna mispronounce this so hard.
Which one is it? Highlight it for me.
The Sesvalestor. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try it either.
Yeah. Swalesador. That translates to Sister of the Sun. She's a human woman, or at least she looks like one. About 30 kilometers tall. And her,
Jesus.
and her skin is a matte black like obsidian. She's covered in glowing gold symbols, and her hair is long and made of a solar plasma that flows behind her thousands of miles. She doesn't burn, but she floats right in the senosphere of the sun. She just bathes in the fire. She's the guardian of the solar system. Now here's what she does. She watches the deep dark space, right? And when she sees something coming like an asteroid or an alien fleet, a cosmic monster, she lifts one of her arms and kind of just points at it. That's it. She quite literally just points at it. The Foundation has satellites tracking her. And if 179 points, they panic. They look where she's pointing and they find the threat. But she doesn't talk. We've all tried, we've sent probes to say hello, but she's ignored them. We've tried talking to her with telepathy.
Telepathy.
She just projected a feeling of indifference. She isn't guarding us, she's guarding the sun. We're just the mold growing on the third rock from the fire. There's something beautiful about that, though, isn't there? Like a 30-kilometer tall goddess just made of starlight, just watching over you like a silent big sister.
I mean, in a sense, we really can't call it big because that, in like that case, it's really not even like the size of a moon.
Well, it's still big though.
It's still pretty fucking huge.
Yeah.
Horrifyingly huge. Like a country sized huge.
Yeah, she doesn't ask for any worship or she doesn't ask for any like money or anything. She just guards. She just stands guard at the fire. It kind of makes you feel small, but kind of in a good way, I guess. It's like being a little kid and having that one babysitter you actually like.
That's one way to put it.
That's pretty much what it is at that point. Now, we've already talked about the lonely hell, and now we've talked about the solar goddess, but now let's get into silence. SCP-2935. Oh, Death. Now, this was a cave in Canada. When you walk into it, you come out the other side, but you're. Oh, not Canada, I'm sorry, India. Indiana. I apologize.
The English speaker.
I gotta. That's probably gonna be enough gardening for me for this video.
Probably a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, sorry. This was a cave in Indiana. When you walk into it, you come out the other side, but you're still in Indiana. The trees are there, the road's still there, the sun's shining, but everything's dead. I don't mean like everything got killed and everything got cut down or anything. I mean like it just expired. The Foundation sent a team through and they found the world identical to ours, but frozen in time. They went to a farmhouse where a family was sitting at the dinner table. They were dead, but no wounds, no poison. They just kind of stopped. They even checked the dog and it was dead too. They checked the bacteria in the yogurt that was on the counter. That was dead. No viruses, no spores. It was just a world where the concept of life just ceased to exist. 100% sterilization. The team drove to the nearest Foundation site. They found the guards dead at their posts. They found the monsters as well that was contained already in the Foundation. SCP-682, the lizard that cannot be killed, was dead in its tank. Whatever it was, it killed the things that were supposed to be immortal. The team explored for weeks, and then they realized the catch. They weren't just observers, they were carriers. By entering that world, they picked up the death. And when they came back into our world, they would bring it with them. The last audio log of the mission is chilling. The lead agent realizes what's going to happen as she locks herself in a room with a nuke. She gets on the radio and says, "We are the messengers, and the message is silence." She detonated the bomb and she destroyed the tunnel. She saved us all. But it really makes you wonder, is that world still there? Is it just a parallel Earth that's just floating right next to ours?
That'd be horrifying. So
Yeah. And how thin is that wall from them and us?
probably the best we don't find out.
Honestly, I was kind of contemplating. I was very hesitant about putting this next one in
What?
because the SCP universe this is considered like a conical hazard,
What?
or yeah,
What's that?
it means like just knowing about it makes it dangerous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, but we have to. So if you're paranoid, you might want to.
Class.
So if you're paranoid, you might.
We're
just
not
wanna-
D class. What do you mean? Let me stop.
We might just want to skip ahead 5 minutes. Now let's talk about SCP 2718. And this is called What Happens After. The Foundation restructured a member of the O5 Council, one of the leaders. He has been dead for 11 years, but they brought him back using anomalous technology. They expected him to be happy. They expected him to share wisdom of the afterlife. But instead, he just started screaming. He screamed for days. He told them the truth about death. We like to think of death as fade to black, or a heaven, or a reincarnation. But he said, I was still there. He said his consciousness stayed in his body. He felt his heart stop. He felt his blood cool. He felt the mortician sewing his eyes shut. He felt the darkness of the coffin. And it didn't just stop there. He felt the worms and he felt his cells breaking down. He felt every inch of the decay. For 11 years, the pain was infinite. The claustrophobia was absolute. And he could feel his atoms drifting apart into the soil. He could feel the pain of every single atom on his body. He begged them not to let him die again. Don't cremate me, he screamed. It'll hurt forever.
Oh God.
The Foundation panicked because if this was true, if this is what awaits us all, then death is the worst thing imaginable. They scrubbed the file and they erased memories of everyone who heard him. They buried the truth, because if you believe it, maybe that belief is what's going to happen.
That's a thought.
I know the energy has shifted just a wee bit. We're going to bring it home and we're going to talk about the strange, the funny, and the scenario of like the end of the world scenarios and why the Foundation does what it does. We're going to find out why they put the world in a box, so you might want to refill your water, and if you want to roll another one, you can. I mean, the sun isn't up yet, so we still got miles to go before we gotta sleep.
Pretty much.
Now let's talk about a suit of armor.
Oh, this should be interesting.
SCP-5000. It's an absolute exclusion suit. It's basically it's a piece of high-tech Foundation gear that makes the wearer invisible, silent, and undetectable. One day, the suit just appeared in the middle of the Foundation site. Inside was a dead man.
Oh god.
His name was Petra Wilson. He carries a briefcase with a log, but Petra Wilson doesn't exist in our timeline. He came from a world where a Foundation did the unthinkable. Now, for decades, the Foundation protected us, but in Petra's world, they found something. They discovered something hidden in the human collective, the unconscious. A parasite identity that feeds on pain. Something that makes us human. The Foundation decided that the only way to save humanity was to end it. The Foundation went rogue. They released every monster we've talked about tonight. They sent Shy Guy in the middle of major cities. They dropped the lizard into London, and they released the plague.
They released a plague doctor?
Yeah, they released every SCP that they've ever contained. They just said, "Go at it, go ahead.
Oh god.
Like, you're free to go."
Oh god.
Petra Wilson watched his own coworkers become the greatest villains in history. He put on the suit and he ran. He spent months walking through the ruins of Earth, watching the Foundation systematically delete every human life. And the most chilling part was the Foundation agents didn't look like they were really enjoying it. They were just blank. They had removed their own empathy so they can do with the thoughts that was necessary. Petro eventually found a way to reset the timeline. He sacrificed himself to make sure that the discovery was never here. It makes you think, is the Foundation our protector, or are they just waiting for the day to decide that we're not really worth the trouble anymore?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we really need I definitely did promise at one point a palate cleanser. So here it is. We got SCP-999. It's a giant translucent orange blob of slime. It's the size of a beanbag chair and it smells like whatever makes you happy. Whether it's chocolate, fresh laundry, or your childhood home. You can even touch it. You feel a wave of pure, unadulterated euphoria. It's like a hug for your soul. It's the only creature in the Foundation that's allowed to roam the halls freely.
Oh?
They even use it as therapy.
What?
They put they put it in the room with SCP-682, the giant hateful lizard that just wants to kill everything. 682 tried to eat it, but 999 just tickled its throat, and within minutes, the most dangerous monster on the planet was giggling and rolling on its back like a puppy. Now, there's a theory, like a really deep lore theory, that 999 is actually the youngest son of the Scarlet King. Now, the Scarlet King is basically Satan of the SCP universe. He's the embodiment of all hate and destruction. But 999's the opposite. He's the one prospered to defeat his father, not with a sword, but by changing his heart. It's a nice thought, but in a world of concrete monsters and infinite darkness, the most powerful force is a jiggling pile of an orange jelly that just wants to make you feel okay. As we start to wind down, I want to mention one of the weirder corners of the Foundation. The Department of Unreality. This is a department that might not even exist. So the employees don't have desks, they don't have badges, and they don't have names. They specialize in things that almost happened. Have you ever had a memory where you're 100% sure it's real, but everyone says it never happened? Like a movie that you saw that you swear that you saw but doesn't exist? Or a street that you remember walking down but you can't find it anywhere on a map?
The weird Mandela effect.
Yeah, it's like the Mandela effect. Maybe that was actually an anomaly. Maybe it was the Department of Unreality smoothed it over. They're basically the ultimate janitors. They don't just clean up the blood, they clean up the idea of blood.
Oh, the fuck.
Now, honestly, I'm gonna say something that's gonna itch our brains a little bit. If we're talking about the world of the SCP universe, honestly, anyone could be considered an SCP. I could be one, you could be one, anyone could be an SCP right now and not even know it. In reality.
Pretty much.
The SCP Foundation is a story of the unknown, but it's more than that. It's a story about us. It's a story about our need to put names on things that we don't really understand. Our need to build walls against the chaos. But maybe the chaos isn't our enemy. Maybe the chaos is just the universe being honest. I'm going to leave with one last file that's not a monster, but it was just a note that was in the desk of a high-ranking Foundation official.
Oh, what the anomaly for this one is.
And it says, "The world is beautiful, but don't forget to look at it while it lasts." I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
Now, either go get some sleep or go get some breakfast, because I know damn well somebody watched this until like 6 in the morning. Whatever you do,
Damn night now.
and whatever you do it with a little more wonder than you had a few hours ago.
Damn fact.
Now, stay safe, stay elevated, secure, contain, and protect. Bye.